Well, welcome to Godly Play at JAFFA. Are you ready for story? Ted's ready. Chewy's ready. No cat today. Have you found a quiet place? Well, let's get our hearts ready. I am here. 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 Well, here I have a desert. Well, piece of the desert. Couldn't fit the whole desert in here. Piece of the desert. So many amazing things happened. It's important that we have a piece of the desert so you can see what it was like. Desert is a dangerous place. Doesn't rain very much in the desert. And if it doesn't rain, things can't grow. And you've got no food. And if you don't have food and water in the desert, you could die. And the wind blows the sand. And it's always changing shape. So you could get lost in the desert. Desert's a dangerous place. And people don't go there. Unless they have to. Well, the people of God in their land, rain wasn't falling either. And so they had no water to drink, no food to eat. The grain couldn't be ground into flour to make bread. And so the children, they would go home hungry every night. And they'd cry themselves to sleep. So their mothers and their fathers made a decision. They decided to go to another land where there was food and water, even if it meant they had to go across the desert. after the very, very long journey, they got to a place called Egypt. And the king of Egypt was called Pharaoh. And Pharaoh let the people come. But when they finally got there and settled in Egypt, it wasn't quite what they expected. Because when they were in Egypt, they were trapped. They had to do what Pharaoh said. They had to go where Pharaoh said. They had to get up when Pharaoh said. They had to go to sleep when Pharaoh said. They had to eat what Pharaoh said. They had to do the work that Pharaoh said. They were slaves. One of the people was called Moses. And God grew close to Moses, and Moses grew close to God, and he knew what he was supposed to do. And so he went to Pharaoh, and he said to Pharaoh, "Let my people go." And Pharaoh said, "No." Many times Moses went to Pharaoh and said, "Let my people go." And Pharaoh said, "No." And then many terrible things happened in the land. And each time Moses would go to Pharaoh and say, "Let my people go." And Pharaoh would say, "No." Until one really terrible thing happened. One night, the oldest boy in every family of the Egyptians died. Even Pharaoh's oldest son. Oh, it was awful. But the oldest sons of the people of God didn't die. God had told them to put a mark above their door. They used the blood of lamb. And the angel of death passed right over the people of God. And they were saved. Moses went again to Pharaoh and said, "Oh, let my people go." And Pharaoh said, "Yes." So quickly, the people hurriedly packed up everything that they could carry. They made bread to eat on the way, but they didn't have time to put yeast or leaven in the bread so that it would rise and be fluffy like our bread. And so they made what they called matzah bread, or flat bread. that they could pack and take with them. You can buy this today. It isn't quite matzah bread. You can buy matzah bread in a few places, but it's the same sort of thing. Mountain bread, flat bread, pita bread. And every time you try and taste this, taste the story, and remember. Well, the people hurried. They hurried and they went so quickly out of Egypt. Oh, they packed everything they could get, and off they went, and their children and their oldies and their animals. And oh, they were hurrying because they were afraid that Pharaoh would change his mind. And then they heard the sound they didn't want to hear. Horses and chariots and soldiers and Pharaoh chasing after them, chasing them right up to the edges of the river, the water. Now, again, they were trapped. What would they do? They go back? No, they wanted freedom. What would they do? Moses, oh, come, don't leave you behind. Moses again drew so close to God. And God drew so close to Moses that he knew how he would deliver them through the waters into freedom. And when they got to the other side, would they all get there? Would they all be saved? Almost. And then the waters rolled back. And they were finally free. Free from slavery, free from Pharaoh. And they couldn't help it. They had to. Thank God. And so they danced. And Miriam, Moses' sister, she led the dancing. And they all danced. They were free. Now, the Exodus, the going out. I wonder what part of that story you liked the best. I wonder what part of the story you think is the most important. I wonder if there's any part of that story that's a little bit like you. Something you might have experienced. I really wonder if there's a part of the story that we could take away. It doesn't matter. We'd still have all the story we need. Well, I invite you, my friends, now that you're back at school and you're with friends, maybe you could talk to them about this story, about what you like the best. Or maybe you'd like to do a little bit of godly play work on this story. Have you got sand? You could tell the story of the sand. Could you draw them? I wonder how they'd feel. I wonder if they were going slowly through the water, wondering if it was going to drown them, or I wonder if they were racing back. Yay! Let's get through this quickly. I wonder what it was be like for you. Well, I've enjoyed having you here. I so look forward to seeing you again when we can. God bless you. And take care.